So I'd love for you to actually expand on that, this whole relationship between calories, weight loss, and intermittent fasting. So if anyone's new to you or the concept of intermittent fasting, what exactly does that mean?
Intermittent fasting is really just any time that you're not eating. And if you think about it, it's supposed to be part of your sort of everyday life. So there's supposed to be this sort of cycle where you feed and then you fast. So when you feed, what happens is that your body wants to store those calories of food energy, right? So when you eat, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for example, you're eating, you're trying to store food energy. And then when you go to sleep and when you're not eating, say after dinner to breakfast time, then you're fasting, you're not eating, and your body has to take those calories of food energy back out. So there's a cycle. So you're transitioning your body from being in the fed state where you're storing calories to the fasted state where you're burning calories, right? But you can't do both at the same time. You can't store calories and burn calories at the same time. It doesn't make sense. Your body, is not going to do both at the same time. So therefore, that's where you get the word breakfast, because you're supposed to feed and then you're supposed to fast. And that's the sort of cycle that we've lost, because if you think about how things have changed from sort of the 1970s before the obesity epidemic, people used to eat 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And we have the studies to show that that's what happened. Now people are eating constantly. They're told to eat, 6 meals, 7 meals, 8 meals a day, small snacks, graze. Go all the time.
Boost your metabolism.
And there's actually no evidence that it's beneficial at all. And it sort of was one of these byproducts that just sort of snuck in there, and everybody just started repeating it, and then it became gospel truth. Because what happened was, of course, there's this big low-fat mania, really, in the 80s and 90s, where people were told to eat low-fat. So people ate a lot of bread, because that's what was on the bottom of the food pyramid, right? The bread and the pasta and all that. So people ate the bread and jam in the morning, and by 10:30, they're like, oh, I'm really hungry, right? And we know why this happens, because when you're eating the white bread and jam, your sugars spike, your insulin spike, and then it crashes. So by 10:30, you're looking for a low-fat muffin, right? So you go and get a low-fat muffin, same thing happens. Insulin spikes, glucose spikes, then crashes. At 12, you're ravenous. It's like you're in a famine, right? So you start eating again. At 2:30, it's the same thing. So you're constantly in this cycle. And so people are eating because they're really, really hungry. And that's what happened. So then people thought, well, we're eating low-fat foods. We're eating lots of, white pasta. We're eating lots of white bread. So low in fat, right? All this jam, so low in fat. And we have to eat 6 times a day. So therefore, eating 6 times a day must be good. Of course, nobody in the history of humanity had ever done that, right? Because
we didn't have food available like that, of course.
Exactly. So this is the thing that people missed, was that if you take sort of natural, real foods, your body responds to it in totally different manners.